For many of us, our mothers were not even partnered in the healthiest way with our fathers or father figures. They did not have a healthy relationship or healthy marriages. And we watched that up close because we were their daughters. So that sent confusing messages about what love was supposed to look like, feel like, or be. We saw love modeled in a different way and mostly not in the healthiest of ways. Hey, friend. Welcome to the Rise and Rebuild podcast. This is your space to breathe again. A space for women of color, single women, and single mothers to finally feel seen, deeply supported, and reminded that you don't have to do this journey alone. My name is Lydia, a certified life coach and founder of Break the Cycle Global and a proud cycle breaker. Around here, we don't just talk about life. We get real about it. The messy, the magical, and everything in between. From breaking unhealthy cycles to mastering your mindset, navigating relationships, parenting, career, money, faith, healing, and so much more. This is where we rebuild when life doesn't go as planned. I know what it's like to feel stuck because I've been there. And now, my heart beats for women like you, ready to rise up and embrace love, abundance, and confidence. So whether you're carrying painful wounds, facing another hard season, or simply ready for a fresh start, you are in the right place, my friend. Grab your coffee, warm your tea, and welcome home. Because this is where we break, heal, and rebuild together. Hey, friend. Welcome back to another episode of the Rise and Rebuild podcast. I am so glad you're here. Well, if you've been listening the last few weeks, you know we've been unpacking what it really means to be a firstborn daughter. The weight we carried, the roles we didn't even choose, and the healing it takes for us to live from peace instead of pressure. And today, we are wrapping up the Firstborn Daughter Diaries with part 2. We are going to have one of the most tender and most difficult conversations. We are going to talk about our relationship with our mothers or mother figure and how that bond now shapes the way we love, we live, and even mother today. But before we do, let me pause and say something. Due to popular demand and because you all are almost breaking my comment section on social media, TikTok especially, we now have a community app for us on School. So if you're a firstborn daughter, you are a single mother, you're a single woman, you're married, you're divorced, you're separated, you're just a woman looking for community and a place to just be yourself, then my dear friend, guess what? Our School community is the place for you. I want you to check it out on the link on the show notes and come join us. Get in the room. Let me be the first to welcome you home. And I just want to pause here and honor you all. I am sending so much love and compassion and the biggest virtual hug to all of you, to every woman that has come to my inbox, to my DM, saying how they've seen themselves in what I'm saying and how they resonate with that. Many of you from the comments, I could see I've walked through things you don't even have words for yet. And I honor your journey. If nothing else, I hope this podcast and episodes reminds you that you're not alone. You're not alone. There are so many other women and sisters that have walked through that journey that are also walking through the same journey. And when you join our community, you'll see that so many of us have stood where you're standing today, and you can absolutely rise and rebuild again. I promise you the community will be a safe place to process that pain. So again, welcome home. Welcome home. You can find the link in the show notes. Now, today's conversation, as I said, is going to be very tender and it's one of the most difficult conversations. It's emotional because it's layered and it might stir up some things you've kept buried for years. But I want you to listen in with a lot of grace and not guilt or shame. This is not about blaming or shaming your mother. It's about understanding her and understanding yourself. Because you can honor your mother and still heal from what hurt you. So this conversation is to understand the patterns we inherited from her so we can stop passing them down. We can absolutely, as I said, honor our mothers and still heal from what hurt us. Okay? So let us start at the beginning. Listen, many firstborn daughters grew up as their mother mirrors and molds. What do I mean by this? From a young age, you are not just a daughter. You became her helper, her confidant, and sometimes, if we are honest, her emotional support system. You learned early how to read her moods, how to keep the peace, how to make her proud. So much of who you became was shaped by what she needed. And because of that, many of us didn't get the space to simply be. We had to be good daughters. We had to be good examples. We had to be good at holding it together. And as I said in the previous episodes, somewhere along the way, we stopped being just children and became the emotional backbone of our families. And it's not because your mother or my mother was a bad person. No. Honestly, most of our mothers were doing the best they could with what they had. Many of them were surviving their own pain, their own broken childhoods, their own silent battles. But somewhere in that survival, we, their daughters, inherited their emotional labor. We carried burdens that are not ours. We carried their own burdens. We carried their own fears. We carried their own frustrations. We became little women before we ever had the chance to just be little girls. We were our mother's emotional support. Sometimes we became our mother's husbands, to be honest. And here's where it gets complicated. For many of us, our mothers were not even partnered in the healthiest way with our fathers or father figures. They did not have a healthy relationship or healthy marriages. And we watched that up close because we were their daughters. So that sent confusing messages about what love was supposed to look like, feel like, or be. We saw love modeled in a different way and mostly not in the healthiest of ways. We probably saw her endure abuse. We probably saw our mother endure abandonment and suffering, all in the name of love. And because of that, many of us firstborn daughters learned that love means keeping everyone happy, even at the cost of ourselves. Because our mothers didn't know how to say no, we learned to say yes when we wanted to say no, even when we were so exhausted, and we learned to stay silent to keep the peace and not to shake things up, because we learned and saw our mothers do just that. And the truth is, because of what she was going through, she was incapable of showing up healthy for you and I. It's not that your mother did not love you. No, she did. But her version of love was shaped by what she lacked. If she wasn't even nurtured herself, how would she know how to nurture you without needing something in return? Just think about it. Extend compassion to her. If she never experienced emotional safety herself, how would she know how to give it? So she raised you to fill that gap, to be reliable, to be strong, to be the one she could count on. And without realizing it, you now became her emotional anchor, even when it sank you, even when it drained you, because she didn't know better. And that is how codependent mother-daughter patterns form. One, on the other hand, gives too much. The other, on the other hand, takes too much. And neither really learns how to just receive. Okay? Now, let's shift gears a bit to something I call the silent competition. What is the silent competition? There is a quiet tension many firstborn daughters feel, but we rarely admit it. Most of the time, from the coaching that I do with firstborn daughters, when they awaken from this unhealthy dynamic with their mothers and start finding help or healing, their mothers might start competing. And please note, I am saying might because it's not always the case. But for people who have very complex relationships with mommy, this happens. And do you know why this happens? It's not because she hates you, no. But it's because your freedom, your healing, the healing you're after now, or the peace you have now, reminds her of her pain. Your boundaries, or the boundaries you're setting now, highlights where she never had any. And if she never healed, she might mistake your independence and creating boundaries now for disrespect or abandonment. She might guilt trip you for forgetting where you came from, or even accuse you of being too selfish. And for some of us who are away from home, you can be told you're too American, you're too proud, you're too British, you're too distant, or even say you've changed. And imagine she's right. She's right because you have. But here's the thing, firstborn daughters. Change doesn't mean dishonor. It means you've outgrown the emotional patterns that kept both you and your mother small. You're not rebelling against your mother. You're reclaiming yourself. You're breaking that unspoken rule that says, Lydia, stay small so I can feel safe. You're not the villain. You are just growing. And so you might see that dynamic play out, especially if you don't have a healthy relationship with your mother. So then the big question is, how do you heal from this and still honor the woman who raised you? I want us to make it practical, shall we? The first step is to grieve the mother you didn't have and honor the one you do now. Healing requires honesty. Some of us didn't get nurtured, we got needed. Some of us didn't get comfort, we got correction. And it is time now to be honest about it. You can love your mom and still acknowledge what hurt. You can honor her sacrifices and still say, Mother, that wasn't enough for me. You can say, my mother did the best she could with what she had then, and also say, her best still left me with wounds. That truth is not selfish. It doesn't dishonor her. It frees you, because healing starts when you stop pretending what happened to you didn't hurt. Okay? The first thing is get honest about it. Next, you have to redefine what it means to honor your mother. Look, honoring doesn't mean unlimited access. You can love your mom and still protect your peace. You can pick up the phone and end calls when they get heavy, or choose not to engage in old arguments. You can tell mother, I love you, but I can't talk about this right now. You are setting boundaries. You're not rebelling. You're just getting clear about where you stand and what's going on. And that clarity is loving your mother and yourself simultaneously. Okay? Then, for most of us firstborn daughters, stop parenting your mother. I know. This is one of the hardest shifts for firstborn daughters. If she calls crying every week, always needing advice or money, I want you to pause. You are not your mother's savior. You are her daughter. That sounds very harsh. But if we want to heal our mother-daughter relationships, we have to get honest about that. You are her daughter. It's not cruel to say, Mom, I love you, but I can't carry that right now. You can listen to her without rescuing her. You can love her without absorbing her pain. And you can support her without sacrificing yourself. That is kind. That is healthy. It teaches both of you what love looks like without codependency. You might be told you're selfish, or that is your mother, she sacrificed a lot. But if you have to heal that relationship, then you absolutely have to do that. Another powerful step is to remother yourself. The little girl inside of you now needs a mother. You give yourself what she missed. Become that for her. You can sit with yourself, speak kindly to yourself, feed yourself, rest if your mother never did that. Reparent yourself. It doesn't mean you're replacing your mother. It means you're restoring your balance. You're teaching your nervous system that peace is safe and that you are no longer that little girl who had to hold everything together. Reparenting yourself and remothering yourself is one of the best things you can do for yourself if you never received motherly love. And finally, Ask God to show you your mother's story through his eyes. Ask him to reveal the parts of her that were just surviving. Sometimes God reveals not to make you excuse her behavior, but to understand how to break the cycle. You can bless your mother and still build something different. I can't say this enough. You can love her and still let go of what doesn't serve you. Okay? Okay, my friend, before I wrap up, there's also another tender pathway to healing, and I want to say it out loud. You are allowed to adopt a mother or a mother figure. That sounds strange, right? Listen, some of us didn't get enough nurturing in childhood. Others had love, but not guidance. And some had guidance, but not love or warmth. So finding a safe older woman to pour into you is not betrayal. You're repairing. It doesn't replace your mother. It meets a need your inner girl still has. Think of an auntie at church, a seasoned mentor at work, a neighbor, an older neighbor who mothers well, maybe your friend's mother who's steady and kind. Just look for qualities that are emotionally safe, that are consistent and wise. Adopting a mother doesn't mean you're replacing your mom. As I said, you're repairing the damage the relationship between your mother and you caused you. So finding an older woman, an older mother to mother you can also be a pathway to healing your mother wounds, to healing your relationship with your mother. You'd be surprised how many women out here would be willing to be that mother for you. And as you build that bond with your adopted mother, I want you to set gentle guardrails so it stays healthy. Share what you need, all right? Be very honest about it. Say it as it is. You're not needing rescuing, but you're needing repair with her, okay? And also pay attention to any red flags. If she competes with you, if she triangulates you, if she pries or uses guilt, that's not mothering. That is control. So as you adopt a mother, you also must be very careful to look for steady and safe mothering. While doing this, continue to honor your biological mother in how you speak about her, even while receiving what you need from your adopted mother. At this point, you're just grateful for what your mom did or could give you, but you're also letting other women help you grow. Let this chosen mothering be practical and embodied. Let it not be one-sided. Remember to keep it simple, keep it straight, and remember, you're not alone anymore. And please, 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 as you walk through this relationship, practice receiving. Say thank you instead of you didn't have to. Let yourself be guided. Let yourself be celebrated. Let yourself be mothered. Okay? All right, my friend. As we close today, I want you to remember this with your whole heart. You're not betraying your mother by healing. You're fulfilling what she prayed for but didn't know how to say. You are the answered prayer of the woman who came before you. You're the one who gets to say, it ends with me. You're not her second chance. You are her redemption story. You're not here to repeat the pain she lived through. You're here to rewrite the pattern. So I want you to breathe, forgive yourself, forgive your mother, release yourself, release her, and rebuild. You don't have to carry what broke her, okay? You get to carry what restores you. You're breaking the cycle, and that means breaking everything that your mother had to go through that you don't want to go through. It doesn't mean breaking the bond, though. It means rebuilding it now on truth, love, and grace. Okay? Good stuff. If this spoke to you, I want you to share it with a sister who's navigating her own mother-daughter healing. Subscribe, please, leave a review, and stay tuned. We're just getting started with breaking unhealthy cycles, healing what still hurts, and rebuilding. So remember this, my friend. Your past doesn't define you. Your pain doesn't disqualify you. So you know what to do. Stay grounded, stay faithful, stay grateful. Let us break, heal, and rebuild together. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.